Test. Okay, should we start? Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Atsushi Watanabe, the Director General for International Cooperation, National Space Policy Secretariat, Cabinet Office, the Government of Japan. Dr. Damrongrit Niamuat, the Deputy Executive Director of Geoinformatics and Space Technology Development Agency or GISTDA, Thailand. Also honorable judges, special sponsors, and all distinguished guests. My name is Napasorn Jongjittanon from GISTDA. I am very honored to be the moderator for the event today. We are delighted to welcome all of you to S-Booster 2024 Asia-Oceania Round. First of all, I would like to invite Dr. Damrongrit Niamuat, the Deputy Executive Director of GISTDA, to give a welcome speech. Dr. Damrongrit, please.
Dear our friends, and dear Mr. Atsushi Watanabe, Director General for International Cooperation, National Space Policy Secretariat, Cabinet Office, the Government of Japan, our representative from the Ministry and also representative from Embassy of Japan in Thailand, Special Justice, good afternoon. On behalf of the Informatics and Space Technology Development Agency, or GISTDA, as the co-host of S-Booster Asia Round, I would like to congratulate 9 teams who are here for the semi-final round from Australia, Nepal, India, Taiwan, Malaysia, Philippines, and Thailand. Since 2018, GISTDA has partnered with National Space Policy Secretariat of the Cabinet Office of Japan to organize the Asia Round of S-Booster contest. This international program has been the important platform in driving space technology innovation across the region. As we all know, the space business requires international cooperation to support idea and resources, expertise. I believe that all of you will gain valuable experience and develop a professional network to positively impact your job and idea in the near future. I hope today you will have the successful and wonderful pitching. All the best and good luck.
Thank you so much, Dr. Damrongrit Niamuat. And next, please welcome the video message from Mr. Atsushi Watanabe, the Director General for International Cooperation, National Space Policy Secretariat, Cabinet Office, to deliver the opening remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Damrongrit Niamuat, Deputy Executive Director of Geoinformatics and Space Technology Development Agency, GISTDA. Distinguished participants, my name is Atsushi Watanabe, Director General for International Cooperation of National Space Policy Secretariat of Cabinet Office, Japan. It is our great pleasure to meet you all at the S-Booster Asia Round today, and I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our indispensable international partner, GISTDA. Also, we should like to thank everyone who participated in the Asia Round and all those who prepared for this event. Also, please let me express my appreciation to the sponsors of S-Booster, NA Holding Incorporated, Taisho Pharmaceutical Company Limited, Sky Perfect JSAT Corporation, Sony Group Corporation, Honda R&D Company Limited, Mitsui and Company Limited, Yoga Electric Corporation, and the judges, Professor Ryosuke Shibasaki, the University of Reitaku and the University of Tokyo, Dr. Damron Niyamat, Deputy Executive Director of GISTDA, Mr. Hidetaka Aoki, Space Business Evangelist, Ms. Laura Anderson, Chairman of One Venture Global, Mr. Baradarajan Krish, Managing Director of IIRA Consulting Private Limited, Mr. Wimentu, Head of Investment Technology, Media and Telecom Sector, Leoni Hill Capital, for your continuous strong support to this event. I would like to express my congratulations to all the semi-finalists for winning in the first round of GISTDA 2024 Asia and being here today to present your innovative business ideas. This is the fifth time for the GISTDA Asia Round to be organized. Through the GISTDA promotion activities, I myself also have had the opportunity to meet the past GISTDA semi-finalists and finalists, and I have learned that those with space-based business ideas discovered in GISTDA are starting to make their own progress in their respective countries. I hope GISTDA is further facilitating the space innovation activities for those to seize their chances. Finally, distinguished semi-finalists here today, space can make various fields of new businesses, and all of you have great potential to be innovators. I would like to encourage you to keep exploring the opportunities and boosting your innovative business ideas. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Watanabe. Yes. Test. Okay. Thank you so much for the opening remarks. And before we start the pitching session in the next few minutes, please allow me to introduce our esteemed panel of judges today. The first one is Professor Ryosuke Shibasaki, who is the head of the judge team. He is a professor from the University of Tokyo and also a professor and vice president of Reitaku University. He is joining us online. And we have Mr. Hidetaka Aoki. He is the space business evangelist. And Ms. Laura Anderson, the chairman of One Global Venture. We have Mr. Varadarajan Krish, Managing Director of Lyra Consulting Pvt Limited. Mr. V. Mengtu, Head of Investment Technology, Media and Telecom Sector of Leoni Hill Capital. And the last judge is Dr. Damrongrit Niamuat, Deputy Executive Director of GISTDA. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time today. And we would like to thank you, our sponsors, for all support to the S-Booster 2024, comprising of ANA Holdings Incorporated, Sky Perfect JSAT Corporation, Sony Group Corporation, Taisho Pharmaceutical Holdings Company Limited, Honda R&D Company Limited, Mitsui & Co. Limited, and Yokogawa Electric Corporation. Thank you so much. We highly appreciate your kind support to boost up space startups and entrepreneurs. So we are arriving the pitching session. We will start with the online teams for total of 4 teams, and then followed by the 5 on-site teams who are already presented here. Each team will have 5 minutes to present your ideas, and followed by 7 minutes for the Q&A session from our judges. And now, please welcome the first team who are joining online to present Bridging the Gap Satellite Data for Empowering Emerging Economies. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Konnichiwa, Swatikap, and good afternoon to everyone. I'm Dr. Abbas Maske, and today I'll be presenting about Bridging the Gap, satellite data for empowering emerging economies. Next, please. We are a multinational team with 30 plus years of space sector experience. We have built and launched over 20 satellites, and that includes Nepal's and Bhutan's first satellite. We did our PhDs, Pooja and I did our PhDs at Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan. And Fusa-san currently works at the same institution as assistant professor. Next slide, please. The Hindu Kush Himalayan region supplies water to over 2 billion people. It extends 3,500 kilometers across Nepal and Bhutan, including India, Pakistan, and 8 other countries. But with changing climates, the question is, what are we doing to protect it? Next, please. We estimate that for the past 5 years, there have been over $3 billion of losses due to climate change. And only last week, after submitting this presentation slide, we had a glacial lake outburst flood in Nepal that wiped out villages. Next slide, please. NGOs, INGOs, and the government has time and again mentioned that there's not enough data to formulate policies, to make prediction, and to mitigate actions. But I think there could be a way. Next slide, please. The primary data source is what we call a automated weather station, AWS in short. And although it's automated, what we found out was the reading is still manual. It's slow delivery. It's infrequent. And although the market is increasing to 800 billion by 2032, it's still cellularly dependent. Next slide, please. What we propose is cellular independence through satellites so that we can get data from anywhere, anytime, any type of data, and the delivery will be fast. This is also a problem. The delivery is also a problem. But this all has to be done at a low cost. Next slide, please. And it should be reliable as we are talking about space systems. That is why we turn to BIRD's open source project. It's a multinational, multi-year project that has already been implemented in a number of countries and has won a number of awards. Because it's open source, the development time is shorter. It already has over 10 years of cumulative orbital time, and it has a very supportive and growing community. Next slide, please. The end-to-end core technology will be as follows. We'll have a direct-to-satellite, DTS module built on a commercial automated weather station that will forward that data onto 60 satellites that will forward again to ground stations. It will collect, process using AI engine, and then display it on a web browser. We expect the end-to-end results to be such that it's near real time. Next slide, please. We're pleased to announce that we can provide this for $10 per device per month. And we understand that it's cheaper than cellular networks in advanced countries. Next, please. With a $10 million investment over a 10-year period, we understand that the return of investment will be by year 6 to year 9, depending on a number of factors, including where we're going to build the satellite and if we're going to scale it hybridly. That means if we can receive some grants as well. Next slide, please. This can touch over $1 trillion in markets, including early warning systems, mountaineering, which is big in Nepal and Bhutan, search and rescue, and we touch on 10 Sustainable Development Goals out of 17 as designated by United Nations. Next slide, please. What we are saying is Nepal and Bhutan are worst case scenarios. And if we can show that it works here, technology that was developed in Japan can scale globally. Thank you. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the Thank you so much for the presentation. Now let's open the floor for questions from our judges. Microphone, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the presentation. So between Nepal and Bhutan, today, what is the population that you are trying to address here?
Yeah, so I mean, Nepal's and Bhutan's population isn't that much, to be honest. We are talking about roughly 40 million people. But because the Hindu Kush Himalayan region that extends across 8 countries, it supplies water, fresh water to 2 billion people, including China and India, if we consider that. So that is why we wanted a system that provides data that affects these billions of people. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, because we are trying to fight the climate change for this particular application. So my question is, what is the population today that will be vulnerable, that is going to be affected by this climate change? And this is important because then you are trying to build a business beyond just the innovation to help them, of course, build, as what you say, the AWS, you're trying to elevate AWS into a data-centric to protect them, right? And also to make sure that you've got enough, they've got enough access to communication and downstream application for for their life, right? So I just want to understand, because when you talk about this, what is the population today that is so vulnerable? Have you got the figure?
So definitely, I mean, easy mode. Sorry, please.
Second question is that you are trying to build these services. How expensive is today the carrier of these services? The difference between the carrier and what you're trying to build today. How big is that difference? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me just go question by question. First is your population question. Population affected directly is roughly 20% of 2 billion. So you're talking about 40 million people in this particular region. But if the water starts drying up, it is indirectly supplying irrigation. You're talking about food security to at least 2 billion people. And this data is coming from ICIMOD, which is an international NGO that is based in Nepal and looks after the Hindu Kush Himalayan region here. So I hope that answers your first question. The second question is, look, the problem, what we've noticed is There are over 150 automated weather stations all over Nepal and Bhutan, more than that. But what we've seen is 50% roughly work. And on top of that, they're all cellularly dependent. The cost for, let's say, if we have to really put a number on it, will be around $15 per month per automated weather station if we are going to connect it to a cellular network. But what if the cellular network is not available in higher altitudes, right? So if you where the gulf happened, you don't have cellular network towers there. There's a need for an alternative communication system that is beyond terrestrial. So that is where we come in and where the satellite will help. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
More question.
Thanks for your presentation. On your page 12, you mentioned about several market opportunities. And what will be your first target that you want to, get? In other words, what will be your low-hanging fruits in terms of, market?
So I think there's two of them. UN has already declared early warning systems for all. So they have set aside a certain amount of money as well. So early warning systems will be target number one. And recently, we had a helicopter crash again in Nepal, and the Civil Aviation Authority mentioned that there's not enough data. That was literally what he said. So what we are going to target, obviously, is search and rescue, and also remote airstrips. And if we can target these, there is definitely need in Nepal, and they definitely have money. So these are the markets that we can really penetrate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. The fundamental question is, there are already existing satellite networks, like if you know NAVIC, and we also have GPS and so on. Why do you want to create another satellite network? What is the fundamental reason? Will not work? The existing network are not serving this? That's my question.
So what we have seen is systems are being designed outside, ex situ design, and implemented in situ. That means Nepal and Bhutan. And what we have seen is they are very hard to maintain, for example, number one. And number two, we actually did try to use Swarm. That was later bought by SpaceX for $500 million. And it did not really work for us here. So what we have seen is lower data rate is required for these kind of systems that need to be deployed in remote areas. And it has to be built by engineers who understand the topography, who can repair it when it's necessary. So that way we can provide real-time data when it's time critical. So this is where we come in. We also provide 30 times more data than what Swarm was providing. So there is already value in that as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But I request you to do some research on metrosats. There are satellites specific for meteorology. Please do some research on that. Thank you.
I think what I want to counter here is that, using satellites are fine, but ground data is important. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for your presentation. My imagination was captured when I first read your briefing, and it continues to be. I was exploring the judging criteria, and there's three categories, as everyone here knows: innovative qualities, social development qualities, and realization and profitability. So my question relates to the middle one, which is social development qualities. And I noted your comment about if it works locally, and you can then scale it globally. And I look at, the need in the world for leading by example, emerging economies, and the importance of what your value proposition is. So again, affordability, but massive reach. So my interest is, one, the need for speed. So how can you do this faster? Right. And then number two, who are you co-creating with and collaborating with in emerging economies?
So first of all, we already have used the Bird's open source hardware and software that allows us to develop the satellites in roughly 2 months. So the technology readiness level is already at 8 or 9. And because we already have a community of supportive, supporters, we are able to then release that satellites as early as possible, right? So what we are working with are with researchers in Kyushu Institute of Technology, Fuse-san, who's already here as well. And we are working with local government, especially Department of Hydrology and Meteorology. I think most of the data that's been flowing through to other institutions is through Department of Hydrology and Meteorology. And if we can provide and show them that, see, we can get real-time data from any place in Nepal and Bhutan to you in a very short period of time, I think they'll see the value and we can work together. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and I'm interested in the specific countries or regions, you know, that you can collaborate with and co-create with to really lead by examples as an emerging economy. I think that's really, to me, the fundamental, you know, where what your value proposition is in this mix. So now, best wishes for every success.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation. Everyone, please give a round of applause to the first team again. Thank you. And the next team will be the second team, Electron Plus. They will present about flexible thermal management suit for comfortable life of astronaut. Please, the floor is yours.
Sorry, hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shaki Kapan. Now I am doing research student at the Toku University, and I am the PhD student and CEO and co-founder of Electron Plus. Electron Plus is a startup company from Thailand. We are the manufacturing semiconductor and research and development of the flexible thermoelectric device for use the energy, vehicle, electric vehicle and healthcare industry. Next slide. Let's start with a simple problem. Now I feel the extremely hot in Japan and on Earth there are the severe climate change, not to mention in space, where the weather is very bad, making it difficult for the human living for space. So spacesuit is really important. Next slide. Traditional spacesuits are really heavy, making difficult for moving. One of them is the liquid cooling system. I want to replace the technology with the flexible thermoelectric to make the spacesuit lighter and have the less equipment. Now I have done the research on this on the Toku University for the increase the efficiency of the cooling on human skin with the relative cooling and metamaterial technology. This research I collaborate with the company in Japan, Shuko chemical industry. I believe that it has enough potential for the practical application. Next slide. Our goal is to develop the technology within the 7 years for the testing in spacesuit, or the sooner if we have a partner. We will focus primarily on developing the technology for the markets on Earth in 3 years. Next slide, please. We start with the question, what do the customer needs? If we can do the MVP, I think it will allow the 2 years to develop a shirt that can adjust the temperature in any environment by adding the flexible thermoelectric on the fabric or textile and test the markets. Okay, next slide. Why us? Next slide. We are the semiconductor development company, and I have a lot of product in the various industry using with our flexible thermoelectric device technology. Next slide. We have the next slide, please. We have the exhibition product and the innovation in Thailand and international, such as Hong Kong and America for the validated market and 5 additional partners. Next slide, please. We believe these markets had a high opportunity goal in the future from the global market side, around the $900 million in the core technology of TG. And I think the FTG still not many players in the markets. We expect to have the market share around the 15% from the global market side. Next slide. When comparing the technology with the competitor in the Korean markets, we have the direct competitor is a spin-off company from the same research in South Korea, which had a similar efficiency, but we can control the cost lower. Next slide, please. Our business model is mainly B2B, focused on the corporate with the large private company to jointly develop product and service. Now we have the 5 patents for the fabrication core technology. We hope to have the opportunity to develop the space technology product with a company in Japan. Next slide. All thing is that we start from the research and try to make it available to the markets by the developing standard production process. Next slide. I will start a company around 2 years ago, and I have the funding from the government and private sector. And now I hope to be part of the S-Booster project to find a new opportunity in the product development. Next slide. Our financial of the Electron Plus, we have the internal rate of return around 43%. You can pay back per lot in 3 years when I invest around 5 million baht. Next slide. Our team is the experts in the semiconductor manufacturing industry and is wide range of the application. Next slide. Finally, green technology for smart city and sustainable development. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you for delivering the idea within the limited time frame. Kindly allow me to reiterate that we have 7 minutes for Q&A session. And now I would like to open the floor for questions from the judge, please.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much for your presentation. My question related to 2 things. One is the semiconductor chip and any risks you have to the way they're configured as the geopolitical environment evolves. So the second thing is the application of your technology across other industry sectors. And I'm thinking the sporting community, extreme sports, and other areas where your new technology might apply.
Okay, back the slide, please. In the technology solution, back to slide the technology solution. Okay, wait a minute. Back. You can back in the technology solution. Okay, it's okay. Okay. The fabrication, the semiconductor, it's called the flexible thermoelectric device. Flexible thermoelectric semiconductor is the functional. It can be the harvesting wet heat to the electrical. It's same when you apply the power on the device. Device can be made hot and cool. In the currently in the research in Japan, either can adjust temperature on the human skin around 15 up to the 180 degrees Celsius. I think it's a possibility for use in the spacesuit or something in the economy. Yeah. And I think it's a new technology, it's a frontier. I think relative cooling for the semiconductor and the metal material for the enhance the temperature gradient on the semiconductor is the lightweight and very small. thickness around the 1 millimeter of the my technology. I think it can be added in the textile or suit or something. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, and thanks for your presentation. It's a very interesting technology that you have gone breakthrough. Congratulations. I think from your comparison chart here, it seems to be quite distinctive. Question to you is, now you're using a silicon technology, then what is the main disadvantage against the traditional material? Thank you.
Okay. This is the advantage, this technology for the traditional, because this device can be the flexibility, and you can add this technology or the everything product for the wearable device or something. And when I start from the material, I can be the control the low cost, and this technology is a green technology, and this all the solid is not have the moving part, and I think this good environment. Okay, I think so. Thank you.
Are you saying that the material is just cheaper, but I don't understand what's the main disadvantage of this material?
Okay. Advantage of this material?
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Okay. I think disadvantage now is a low efficiency. Low efficiency when you compare with the other energy with such as the solar cell or something. I think the efficiency, this technology allowed 5%. And my research, I want to develop the efficiency of the material when we improvement the structure of atom and inside in the semiconductor for the enhanced efficiency. Okay, I think this advantage is the low efficiency now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I didn't see any test, I mean environmental test. Did you make any test of your products right now, or is the test in plan?
Yeah, okay. Next slide, please. Next. Okay. I test in a lot of the product from the various industry, such as the cooling for the energy storage system and the cooling for the electric vehicle product and the healthcare product. I think this technology have the potential for use in the commercial line, but I have planned the commercial line with the private sector in Thailand around the next year on March for the sell the product or something. Yeah.
I think maybe you have to study more about space environment and make some taste for space also.
Okay. I don't have the experiment on space. I think I don't understand the question. Space and the environment.
Yeah. So I mean, like because your proposal is for the space suit.
Technology.
Yeah. So I think you need to make a plan for the test for space environment.
Yeah. I want to test in the space environment, but when I have the opportunity to test this technology in the space, I think I want the opportunity from the JAXA. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Any more questions? Thank you so much for the presentation. And everyone, please give a round of applause to the second team. We have a very active Q&A session so far. And the next team, please welcome the third team, Prospect Assure. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm waiting for the slides to come up. Yeah. Can I have the slides, please? Thank you.
Please wait for a moment.
Yes, I can see my slides. All right, I'll be starting right now, despite the timer. Should I start now?
Yes, you can start the presentation. And could you please turn on your camera, please?
Oh, sorry. Can you see me? Actually, the camera is on from my side. The camera is on my side, and
We are checking.
yes, thank you. Please let me know if I should start. I will be waiting for your signal.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, please start, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anshu from Malaysia, and I'm going to present Prospect Azure, which provides geospatial intelligence for blue carbon. Blue carbon draws my attention and inspires me when I have a chance to visit a wetland that transforms a new city. That gives me an idea how important blue carbon is to the environment and its community. And space data enables geospatial intelligence, and that motivates me to join as boosters to bring space down to Earth and make satellite data actionable. Next page. Blue carbon is simple. It's a coastal ecosystem, includes mangrove, tidal marsh, seagrass or seaweed. At the moment, 51% of the global mangrove is in Asia Pacific, and in the last 25 years, 63% of the global loss is accounted in Asia Pacific. And this is very alarming because we have lost the benefit of this blue carbon coastal system that is really critical. That is really a critical ecosystem for the coastal communities as well as the biodiversities. And if we overlook the loss of blue carbons, even by just 2%, it could lead to emission of 230 megaton of CO2 equivalent. That will set us back in all the countries' net zero goal. Next slide. Scientific research using satellite imagery can effectively map the blue carbons in terms of tidal wetlands distribution in the world. And it can also do change detection to detect the gains and losses over time, as well as able to classify what type of blue carbon it is, either a tidal flat or mangrove. Next page. And blue carbon is high quality compared to green carbon, which is the forest. It is 3 to 5 times more in terms of carbon capture. And if you note the graphs below, most of the carbon absorbed by blue carbon is stored in soil, meaning that the carbon storage is much, much longer compared to green carbon. And fortunately, it is also widely available in Asia Pacific. So we have a lot of opportunity to take advantage of capturing blue carbon value. Next slide. In terms of problem market fit, in the voluntary carbon market, blue carbon is valued 3 times more than green carbon. it is noted that this is what everybody wants, but at the moment, nobody can get it enough. That is because the blue carbon verification and its credit issuance system is still at its early stage. Next page. In terms of problem solution fit, lack of blue carbon verification can be overcome by blue carbon MRV service, which stands for monitoring, reporting, and verification, which use a combination of various sources and specialized payload that will detect blue carbon from the satellites in the sun-synchronous and near equatorial orbits to overcome the lack of data availability and frequency. The credit issuance issue, which I believe can be complemented by the Japan J credit framework to help with the credit compliance and the issuance. Next page. In terms of the total addressable market of blue carbon, it is estimated at around $600 billion US. And if you take 1% premium in the insurance market for those blue carbon, we are looking at $6 billion US, and estimated the MRV service fee of 1% in terms of service obtainable market, we are looking at a revenue per annum of $60 million US. Next slide. Prospect as well aims to take collaboration and partnership model with various data sources from space agency and commercial companies. And we are looking to serve the customers, particularly in the project developers, investor, and insurance company. It can also verify by terrestrial data source and integrate with the ground truth data. Next slide. As a whole, as a summary, blue carbon is a highly efficient nature-based solution for carbon removal and storage. It is at high demand, but currently at low supply. This is the gap due to verification and credit issuance. And I believe this is the gap of opportunity we can enter. And satellite-driven analysis is the enabling technology for MRV and its potential revenue of $60 billion US. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. And now is the time for the questions.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. I think blue carbon is very, very interesting. We have, in Thailand, we have a lot of discussion for blue carbon. And if you go to page number 8, how do you gonna make some kind of the business model from this the partnership model? Because for the blue carbon, you are talking about coastal ecosystem, and in Thailand for mangrove and everything is national resources. And how you can get the money from, and how can you give the money back, and do you think that kind of thing as the business model?
Yes, sure. So in terms of the business model, I'm looking at the part where carbon is sold as a credit system in the carbon market. So generally, there's been a transaction in the carbon market where investors pay money to kind of own the carbon offset or the preservation of this carbon. So they have the interest of reduced losses for the commercial side. And at the same time, if they experience once they buy this credit, they might experience losses due to illegal logging or climate disaster. And this loss, meaning that their credit is no longer useful. So they would need insurance to protect their asset. And in order for insurance to be able to judge or evaluate the value of this credit, they need MRV service. And MRV service is what Project Azure is aiming to do, to provide the monitoring fee to enable the insurance as well as protect the value of the credit.
Yeah. Thank you for your presentation. I also had some questions on slide 8, and it relates to the customer section. And down under where it says general users, I thought, could you maybe explain a bit more on industry partners who may be able to enhance what you're trying to achieve?
Sure, thank you. The general users in this part is more like a platform for people to get awareness of the preservation of blue carbon. It will serve as an information dissemination platform for them to know what's happening. But the fidelity, the detailness of the data probably is only serve the paying customer for them to make decision. But for general users, it's more for awareness so that they will embrace the importance of blue carbon and put pressure for those people who try to harm the coastal ecosystem.
Thank you for the presentation. Now, where are you in your status, the status of your startup? Where are you right now?
It's in the early stage in terms of ideation.
Have you done any validation with those customers that you listed in the slide?
Well, the one of the validation done is with the insurance company, where they see a demand of protecting the the blue carbon, but they do not have enough evidence to properly insure this blue carbon. So this also kind of the problem where people want to invest in blue carbon projects. They might not have a sufficient warranty to ensure the quality of the carbon can be preserved.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for your presentation. Can you tell me about what your core technologies are, which differentiates from others?
Yes, the core technology is actually on the open analysis model, where it takes in different data sources. So the model aims not to just log to any data sources, but to use a variety of sources, such as multispectral, hyperspectral, LiDAR, and even SAR data at the context. So the goal is to be able to map this data as efficient as possible using existing data. And if and only if there is a niche that cannot be served, then we might move upstream to develop the payload for that.
Thanks.
Any questions from the judges? Thank you so much, the third team, for your presentation. Everyone, please give a round of applause to the third team, Prospect Assure. And the next, I would like to invite the fourth team, Laptop Set. Please, you have the floor.
Okay. Sorry, where is the slide? Okay, should I start? Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Yushen Liu, and today I want to introduce a new business idea, LabTASet, a new concept of CubeSat. Next page. Okay. Why? Yes, it's a CubeSat. Actually, CubeSat changed how like a university or how startup company going to space in this 2 decades because it is cost effectively and with its standard. However, CubeSat is not perfect. It has some limited. Next page. Okay, CubeSat is good. However, like it has some limited, like the power is not enough, and like the surface is so small, which means that it's difficult to use maybe large patch antenna. So the communication ability is limited. And CubeSat with the stack configuration makes the sometimes the structure is very complex. So it means that it's very difficult to assemble. Okay, and sometimes drag is very high. Next page. Okay, how about we thinking outside the box, but still inside CubeSat deployer? It means that how about we use the flat design to design a CubeSat? Okay, next page. Next page, please. Okay, we call it a LabTASet. Okay, LabTASet is a satellite which with a thickness 2.5 centimeter, and we define a unit called 1L, which volume is equal to 1U CubeSat. And it has different size like 1L, 2L, 3L, just like a CubeSat, depend on your mission requirement. And why it called left set? Because within the size or the taste and architecture, even the manufacture way, the left set is very similar like a laptop or the iPad, so we call it a left set. Next page. Okay, within the left set is the answer of the CubeSat problem. First, it can get high power. You don't need to use the deployment mechanism, which you still can have a large surface solar panel. Additionally, with the large surface means that you can put maybe large patch antenna or heat radiator or panel, anything you want. Actually, it expands the possibility of the satellite mission. And flat configuration makes left set structure is really simple, so which means it's very easy to assemble and highly integrate. And this too means that it can be mass produced. And sometimes it can, if it fly in the X or Y axis, it can with very low drag, which means it can extend the orbit lifetime. Next page. Okay, how to launch left set is very simple. We can use the deployer which we already have to launch. At the left side, we can see we can use the deployer which already have, and it can launch a 12 satellite in a one time. And I want to mention like the left side is quite important because if we use ISS keyboard, we can use the 50 kilogram class satellite deployer, and it can deploy the 4.8L left set. And I think this is very competitive because it can very good to fill the gap between the 3U to 6U CubeSat, but also it has the benefit of the left set, the advantage of left set. Okay, next page. Okay, here we have small summary. As we can see, just by flat design, we can have so many performance improve. Next page. Okay, in operation scenario, we can see it is very suitable. First, it is very suitable for the constellation mission because it can mass produce and it can launch so many in the same time. And second is communication mission because like it can have very large survey to use the large page antenna, but also the power is very enough. This too is very crucial for the communication mission. And education mission, like I mentioned, that the structure is very simple, so universities are very easy to use for the education mission. And the VLEO mission, which like fly in the 300 kilometer high, and you can fly in this kind of direction, so the drag is very low. And if the satellite has some problem, is flipping, it can generate a bigger drag than the CubeSat, so it will deorbit very quickly, so it can help to protect our orbit resource. Okay, next page. Okay, so our future business plan for first 2 years, we hope we can do a research and design mission, a demo mission. And in the growth phase, we hope we can really launch a constellation which really will. And at the end, we not only launch more constellation, we hope it like a CubeSat to become a standard of the future nano satellite. Next page. Next page. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation about the laptop set. And now I would like to open the floor for questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Just have a question on the attitude control of the satellite. I guess you have to keep facing sun to get sunlight and power. And how do you do the attitude control with this flat sat?
Oh, okay. So actually, we can as okay. I would say the control system will quite different with the CubeSat because it's very flat. So actually, we think because left set sun is small, so actually we can use the magnetic torque. And actually, this configuration, some magnetic torque can larger than the CubeSat. So I think the control will not with the problem. So maybe like for bigger left set, we maybe have to use the momentum wheel. Yes.
But the momentum wheel is too big to fit into 2.5 centimeters. So magnetic torque will be the only option for this size of a satellite. But if you're facing sun, your antenna might not be pointing down the Earth. How do you solve that problem?
Oh, okay. Yes, that's a good problem. actually we are not restrict the left heart signal is 2.5. Actually, if you want to, you want to put a bigger momentum wheel, you can maybe 5 centimeter or other size momentum wheel. And actually, you still can use the deployment mechanism, but But actually, we want to keep the whole satellite very simple. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you go back to the future business plan?
Okay, please back to the, yes.
Yeah. How you gonna get the revenue from this plant? I mean, as we can see, there are a lot of open sources for the CubeSat.
Yes.
And the new idea for the laptop SAT is very new. How do you expect to get the revenue from your plan?
Okay, actually, that's the good question. So actually, so I mentioned I say our automatic goal is that build a like an ecosystem, like it can become a standard. So for the first few years, we will want to focusing on the engineering. Like we can maybe make a platform or make a module. So maybe the market know what is there and market use this. So actually it can create a revenue. So actually it cannot get a revenue very quickly. It needs some yes, development. Yes. So that's the reason why become a standard is so important to us. We not only want to build just a special standard. We want to make the laptop say it's a worldwide standard which everyone can use. Yeah.
Thank you. My second question is on your operation scenario,
Okay.
the previous page.
Okay.
Do you expect any scientific mission also?
Sorry, can you?
Scientific mission, is it possible?
Okay, yes, it's very suitable for science mission, especially like a VLEO mission, because I think people not really understand the VLEO environment, like a 300 kilometer high than Earth. So if we have this platform, we can stay more time than the CubeSat than before. So maybe we can do some scientific mission in the VLEO orbit. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Have you conducted any technical feasibility studies? Is it the first one you're trying to do, or are there any body of research from the past that you're relying on?
Oh, okay. I will say we are not the first one, but you can see like a Swan or other company like Forza, they have very similar CubeSat, like this laptop set concept. Yeah, we have concept, but we don't have this name. So just I mentioned, our goal is to become a standard. You can see they only build their own satellite, but however, we want to use this laptop set to the maybe different company, like maybe you are focused on communication mission, or you are focused on science, or focused on education. We want to make it standard and make it to different customer or different area, not just for one company.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you so much, the fourth team, for your presentation about the laptop set. Everyone, please give a round of applause to the fourth team. Thank you. And now we already finished the virtual presentations from all four teams. Next, we will continue with the on-site teams here. And I would like to welcome the fifth team, Smart Sense, for presentation about smart tools from above. Please, you have the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Good afternoon. We are Smart Sense, Smart Tune from above. We are smart team including 3 key persons, geotech expert, AI developer, and insight specialist. Me, myself, Dr. Pipat, I have 30-year experience in geotechnical instrumentation and monitoring. Dr. Pongthep, who developed our smart system by using AI and deep learning. Dr. Pawan, he is the insight specialist and also remote sensing specialist. He worked hard for us. We here to give you very important service, detect and monitor ground movement to prevent the loss. We have so many types of ground movement. For example, in this case, is the landslide in a mine. Natural slope failure on the highway, and subsidence and then flooding in the factory area. And underground construction sometimes lead to the sinkhole in the city. Even small ground movement in the countryside sometimes cause some tower collapse. So we Smart Sense, we give you, we can detect and monitor ground movement in advance to avoid or reduce the loss, or for no disruption of living, and for optimum resilience if something occurs. So our technique is based on INSA, interferometric synthetic aperture radar. It is the right time now to apply INSA because several countries launched SAR satellite in the sky, including Japan, JAXA launched ALS-1, ALS-2, Sky Perfect JSAT also launched 36 small SAR satellite, since Spaceship also StrikeX, and definitely we have SAR satellite from NASA, from ESA, and from China. What we do? So ESA using radar, it works well day and night. All kind of weather cover big area at much cheaper cost, and also we can use satellite detect ground movement in the area where other method cannot do. So ESA together with our smart system, we can give you the result fast and accurate, and we can also integrate other remote sensing and cloud-based tools for better solution. What we do? First, we have to determine the target area and then collect the data and put in our smart system, Smart Sense. Then we will get the deformation map, and then we can give you the warning if something wrong. In terms of benefit, we expect 3 benefits. One is the revenue. So in the first 2 years, we believe that we have to spend some money for demonstration and marketing. After that, we expect that we will earn a lot of money because we have plenty of area that we can give you the service, million, billion, maybe trillion. But the most important of all, we save the loss, and some loss is invaluable, uncountable. And one thing that we can do for you, no disrupt of the way of life. And definitely we maximize utilization of space asset already there in the sky. In the beginning, we focus on this kind of customer construction site. Excavation work can be surface underground in the city or the city, or can be the mine in surface underground, small to big, especially the where inaccessible area. And also we target the government agency with take care infrastructure, or even insurance company who want to do risk assessment. And definitely one of the best of insight is to study earthquake for prediction. So we believe in partner. We want to work with you to enhance each other. JAXA, Pasco, Sky Perfect, JSAT, since Spaceship. So work for together for well-being. We are Smart Sense, make you happy. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. And now is the time for the questions from the class, please.
Yes. But I think the microphone not loud, but I can hear you.
Thank you. Just a quick question on, there's obviously a lot of experience within your team. And so my interest is in the areas of commercialization. And how have the 3 of you, have you ever been involved in an exit? If so, maybe elaborate on that a little bit further for us. Successful.
May I rephrase your question? So you asked about the commercial, right?
Successful entrepreneurship within your team. There's a lot of skills. Not in the past, or no, not yet.
Not yet.
All right. So big opportunities.
Okay,
Thank you.
you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks for your presentation. Can you tell me what differentiate your technology from others? Because there are many institutions and private companies doing INSAR service provider. So just want to know.
The difference from other is going to be our smart system, AI algorithm that we develop by ourselves that can do processing faster. Other do processing. We are dealing with big data, so normally take long time to finish one processing. Now we develop AI deep learning system that can finish faster. The second one, myself, I have experience. I can input my experience in expert system to make the interpretation of the data fast for various kind of car movement. That is what different from other.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. Hide is what's the differentiating factor? I think when I look at the middle part, which is the artificial intelligence, right?
Yes.
Would you mind sharing more on why so special about your technology in this?
I think I can say that it's not that special, but we develop things that normally people do manually. Now we try make it faster.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say that we develop things that less use of manual, become automatic, but with some kind of deep learning thing. Yeah.
So to date, how much have you tested? How do you then convince yourself that it is working?
I did only one case only in the mine in Thailand, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Okay.
What is it about? Seems we have some time. Can you explain?
It's something about landslide in a coal mine in the north of Thailand.
Okay.
Okay, so we collect data, we create some smart system, and we process the data and get the result.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So I'll call you Pipet. So Pipet, I want to tell you there's a lot of data in the Himalayan region, north of India.
Okay.
Some institutions are working on it.
Okay.
This is a holy grail of research. It's prone for a lot of landslides. It's a daily occurrence. Every hour, some landslide keeps happening. So there's a lot of data available there, rich data. And this problem is something nobody is able to solve. I'm telling you, this is going on for many years. And without naming the institutions, we will talk separately about it. I just want to say that multinational countries, like multinational research is on, and they are all pitching, in that region, in the Himalayan region. I'm just taking time because you have still 3 minutes to go. And so what I want to mention is there's a lot of research material available that you can leverage and probably accelerate your development. I will talk to you separately about this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Please give a round. Thank you. And now we will have a very short break for 5 minutes, and we will come back together again and continue the pitching. Thank you. Everyone ready? All right, I would like to continue the pitching session. And now I would like to invite the sixth team to present our aerospace. You have the floor, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Everyone, I'm Vishal from Inbound Aerospace. Our motto is from space for Earth. So what are we building at Inbound? We're building an autonomous, unmanned, free-flying, recoverable spacecraft. So before I tell you more about our spacecraft, let me describe the problem that we're trying to solve. So today in the International Space Station, if I want to do any experiment, I have to wait for a long time to get a slot. And apart from that, my experiments are limited because of the fact that I have to consider the safety of humans on board. And apart from that, another interesting thing is there are also microgravity disturbances that are present on board because of the activities and the life support equipment that astronauts use. So if you look at the chart on the right here, the periods in red are when the astronauts are awake, and the periods in blue are when the astronauts are asleep. So these microgravity disturbances can also affect the type of experiments that you do on board. After the experiments are done, you also have long waiting periods for the experiments to come back to Earth. So talking more about the re-entry problem, you have high re-entry deceleration loads for these capsule-shaped spacecraft. And apart from the re-entry deceleration loads, when the parachute is deployed just before landing, you have the shock of that parachute deployment as well. And just after the capsule lands, you have the impact of either the hard landing on water or on land. And then because you don't have so much control over where your capsule lands, you have that dispersion in the landing point as well, because you don't have as much control over where the capsule lands. So keeping these problems in mind, coming back to our spacecraft, this is what our mission profile would look like. So our spacecraft is launched on any available launch vehicle. We'll just be happy to go with the cheapest available launch option. That launch vehicle will take us to the low Earth orbit where the experimentation happens. And after that is done, our spacecraft begins re-entry, and then it is able to autonomously guide itself and land on a runway gently. Yeah, so what makes our spacecraft different? Our spacecraft is designed to fit inside the Indian Space Research Organization's small satellite launch vehicle. Down the line, we'll be able to go with the cheapest option, whether it's a ride-share mission on the Falcon 9 from SpaceX or a dedicated mission in this ISRO's small satellite launch vehicle. And then we offer a higher quality microgravity environment because we don't have the problems of the manned space station. And depending on the needs of the experiment on board, our experiment duration or orbiting duration can go anywhere from a few hours to a few weeks. So we offer that flexibility as well. And we also offer lower re-entry deceleration loads because of the aerodynamic shape of our spacecraft when compared to a capsule. And also when you compare it with a capsule, we have more control over where we want our spacecraft to land. So we are able to autonomously guide it and have it land on a runway. And the fact that we can land it gently on a runway, and you combine that with the fact that we are going for a green fuel-based propulsion system, a nitrous oxide propane fuel-based propulsion system, from a regulatory standpoint, that should give us access to a large number of airports and runways worldwide. Yeah. So what you can use our spacecraft for? If you're a satellite company looking to test your hardware in space, if you want to space qualify your components or your sensors, you'll be able to use our spacecraft as a test bed before you actually go out and send your entire satellite into space. So if you look at the picture at the bottom left, that's Indian Space Research Organization's PSLV orbiting experimental module. So that's a good example of how Indian companies in India currently use platform to test their components in space. But the problem is, these are really expensive components and they can't be brought back using this module. So that's where we'd like to come in for the first use case. Second use case, microgravity research. You have universities in India, in Europe, in Japan, who are doing microgravity research currently on the International Space Station and some other platforms as well. But we want to be able to target these markets, these universities for microgravity research. And we also want to especially keep in mind the decommissioning of the International Space Station by 2030. One of the biggest modules of the space station is the Japanese Kibo module. So we want to be part of the utilization plan post 2030 and even before that as an alternative to the International Space Station. And the third use case is in-space manufacturing. We want to make use of the unique microgravity environment of space for bringing back high value, low volume products like pharmaceuticals or semiconductors. So this team is currently the three of us, core team members. You have Dr. Arvind, who has his PhD in aerospace engineering. He's joining us online as well. And that's me with a master's in engineering management from Columbia. And our third team member is Captain Abhijit, who recently took his early retirement from the Navy and spent more than 22 years in the Navy and was also a fighter pilot. And we also have a team of 25 interns in the university where we're incubated, and they've all started working on different subsystems as well. But yeah, that covers all aspects of our company and what we do. Thank you for listening to us. We are now open for questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Now let's open the floor for the questions.
Thanks for the presentation. Can you tell me why you choose space shuttle look like a vehicle rather than the capsules like Apollo?
Sure. Yeah. Let me. So one of the main reasons is the re-entry deceleration loads. So let me pull up that slide one second. Yeah. So one of the main reasons that because of the blunt shape of the capsule, you'll have much higher re-entry deceleration loads. And with a capsule, you won't have much control over where you want it to land. Because of our aerodynamic shape, and we are going with a lifting body design, the spacecraft itself produces lifts. There are no wings. So the spacecraft itself is able to produce lift. And similar to what the space shuttle did from the 80s to the early 2000s, our spacecraft will behave like a glider once it completes re-entry. So once it comes back into the Earth's atmosphere, it will behave like a glider, and then we'll be able to autonomously guide it to a runway. That's why we went with this shape.
So you think that the space shuttle look like vehicle would be better?
Better than a capsule, yes, in terms of re-entry deceleration loads and being able to guide it to wherever we want to guide.
Okay, thanks. And sorry, one more question. So India currently does not have a re-entry technology. Mm-hmm. And where does your original technology comes from? Any preliminary research at your co-founders at ISRO?
Yeah. So in terms of re-entry technology, India has done a couple of re-entry experiments in the past, like they don't do it on a regular basis. So what we want to do in the future, there is a supplier to ISRO right now in India, close to where we're located actually. So that supplier already supplies these silica tiles to ISRO for their use. So our goal is to use the same silica tiles from the same vendor that ISRO uses for our spacecraft. And apart from that, we are in talks with a startup that supplies and manufactures ultra high temperature ceramics to ISRO for their re-entry purpose as well. So ISRO is planning a manned space mission around 2035 and 2040 between that time frame. So they're doing a lot of research on re-entry for the capsule that will bring back the astronauts as well. So we're in talks with these two, a company and a startup for our re-entry purpose.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
So Vishal, excellent presentation. Thank you. Which institution are you part of? Which incubator?
Oh, so we're part of Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Okay, so that's great. Where Arvind did his PhD from, and that's where we're pre-incubated right now.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. My interest is more in the timeline. So you mentioned about the opportunities with the International Space Station. So maybe can you just talk us through maybe an ideal rollout plan over the next 10 years?
Yeah, sure. So one thing I didn't mention is we're looking to develop our thrusters on our own. So we'll be using these thrusters to reduce the velocity and deorbit our spacecraft. So the first thing, Arvind, one of our co-founders, Arvind, his PhD was in aerospace engineering with a specialization in propulsion. So we're looking to build our thrusters in-house. So one of the first things we do as we build out our subsystems is offer our thrusters as a source of revenue. And post that, we want to target the in-orbit testing and technology demonstration use case. So any satellite company that is able to, that wants to use our platform to test their hardware in space, we'll be using, have them as their customers to, for our first few launches at least. And in terms of timeline, we're looking at early to mid 2026 for our first launch to test out at least for in-orbit testing and microgravity research purposes. So we'll have to talk with universities, we'll have to talk with other satellite companies as well. But if one more thing, last thing I want to mention is we will not be designing the actual experimentation module, at least initially. So you have companies like Space Pharma, if you see the picture at the bottom left, bottom middle. So they already make these modules which are 20 centimeter by 30 centimeter by 40 centimeter volume. So the ideal goal would be for these companies to talk with the microgravity research companies or universities or any other pharma companies, design the experiments for them, and then we'll be the logistics partner for companies like Space Pharma, which make these modules. So at the current volume of the standard module, of this payload module, we'll be able to fit 35 to 40 of them in our spacecraft. Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. You mentioned about runway, airport runway.
Yes.
Do you have any specification of runway, long runway, and you have any target of airport, runway anywhere?
No, that's something we have to work out. So one thing that we'll have to work out is a re-entry license. So in India, there's no company that has obtained a re-entry license as of yet. But I was just talking to another one of the startups here. So in Australia, they are encouraging companies to come and try to do re-entry because they have so much space, so much barren land. But our goal, at least, would be try to get the re-entry license in India primarily. If we are not able to achieve that in the timeline that we want to, then we'll probably be looking outside of the country as well. Yeah.
Yes, and I was going to say, like with ELA and others, if you do need that type of a link, you would have it, but please let me know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Any more questions for the Inbound Aerospace? Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
And next, may I invite the 7th team, Urban Lanes AI. Please have the floor.
Hello. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Konnichiwa. Sawadee-kap. Today, I'll be talking about Urban Lens AI. Our mission is to revolutionize urban planning and real estate market analysis. My name is, this is the old presentation. Yeah, there's a, sorry. Yeah, yesterday, this morning it was confirmed. Yeah, this morning. This morning. Yeah. This is different. Yeah, because it should show my.
For the online participants, we are now fixing a technical problem. Please wait a moment.
Okay. Right. I will catch up now. I will speed this up now. So just to quick, our mission is to improve urban planning and create sustainable cities using AI. So I am Michael Ogbinar. You can call me Mike. I'm a PhD student in artificial intelligence in University of the Philippines. All right. So I want to start with housing. So who here lives in a home? I assume everyone here, right? And I'm a father. I have a wife and I have a small 18-year-old boy. And I think everyone as a father or, as a family and wants to eventually build a home, get a house. But the general trend is that over time, houses become expensive. And it's not, it's happening across the world and more so in other places. And the people that are supporting this ecosystem, the ones that are developing real estate, government, as well as financial institutions, are challenged with data. So essentially, there are a lot of challenges with respect to the data, with respect to accuracy, with respect to coverage and comprehensiveness, that can be used for planning as well as risk assessment. So what's our solution? Our solution is Urban Lens AI. So at the very top, the process or methodology that we follow is we take housing data. Housing data, the traditional housing data is essentially the size of the house, the lot, number of doors, etc. The challenge there is that it does not take into account a lot of other factors. So one example of what we tried to do when we were developing this product is to include satellite data. So what does satellite data mean? So I'll actually show this, show an example later. But essentially, it tries to take into account spatial information as part of the factor for developing housing estimation. And then we use machine learning to help scale this solution. Ultimately, the benefits are fourfold. First is we have an advanced integration of data. Second is that we have a method that is highly scalable. And then it empowers decision making and, of course, improves social development. So this is some examples or illustration of how the methodology works. But I would like to focus on the satellite image. As you can see, the satellite image shows the vicinity of a house. And there, you can actually see a lot of information that is not usually taken into account when developing or computing a house price. And using machine learning, we are able to extract this information and add that as part of the formulation. And that data that we're able to generate, that can power more advanced analytical tools for planning, for assessment, and for risk computation. There is actually a lot of opportunity with respect to real estate in the Philippines. But the dream to have your own home is not isolated in my country. This is actually a global opportunity. Our business model is very simple. We generate real estate data, we provide services with respect to analytics and advisory, and we target the players of the real estate market. And there are a lot of them, particularly the government, particularly the real estate developers, and then banking financial institutions. This allows us, our model, to be not only sustainable but scalable and tapping into network effects. Ultimately, the #1 customer that we need to look at are the residents and the communities, and because these are the ones that will really be impacted. Currently, I'm the solo team. I drive this initiative as well as the development of the AI application. But I'm currently being supported by a local conglomerate in the Philippines. They're actually the ones that are sponsoring the research, as well as being guided by a university AI and business expert within the University of the Philippines. A quick recap of my presentation, Urban Lens AI, the key benefits is that we augment traditional data with satellite data. We scale it using machine learning and AI. We empower decision making, and we impact those that are really needing it. Together, let's improve urban planning and create sustainable cities using AI. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Now is the time for the questions to Urban Lens AI, please.
Thank you. I can see huge applications all over the world. What I'd like to do, though, is to be able to really understand where your unique value proposition is. And I would tie the last slide, that one, and then back to the satellite imagery slide. So is it possible to go to that slide?
Yeah, I'm...
Great. So let's assume I'm a developer, a property developer, and I'm doing urban planning, and I'm trying to do my own risk assessment and try and understand. Can you talk a little bit about what's unique about your offering?
Okay. For example, if you're a real estate developer, I think the simplest would be if you have information like this, you can actually have a better understanding of where the value is. It can be two things. One is in what area there are actually high value properties. Should you build near them? Or if there are any opportunities with respect to, let's say, this area, people think that is overvalued, but it's actually undervalued, or something like that. It gives you better understanding of how to position yourself, or maybe over time this is an area that you can develop further, such that it will increase value over time. So there's a lot of ability to plan further, not just today but in the future, if you have information like this. To compare, currently, if you want to do something like that, data most probably is going to be gathered manually, as well as there is really no standard way to compute this at the moment. So each developer, each existing services would have their own way to compute. So it's not really comparable, and that's actually one of the challenges.
And what about the use of satellite information? I'm thinking about heat sensing and
actually,
water. And
just to share, when we developed this, we used the most basic ability in terms of satellite. So for example, the image that we use came from just Google Maps. So it's just RGB data. So in the future, as we develop the technology, I want to be able to see if we can include things like SAR, etc., that will have more information included that might give us more factors as in how the pricing is estimated. And that's actually part of it means the technology can still be developed. Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you for your presentation. I think using the sensory system is logical, question to you is when you said you use machine learning to accelerate. So what is that thing that inside the machine learning that you are trying to develop that would make, number one, the developer will feel that it's very compelling to use your data. Second is that accuracy, right? So what is that insight that you're trying to develop?
Okay, thank you for that question because it's really a problem that we encountered. In terms of developing the solution to this, it's a combination of multiple models, in multiple machine learning models. So this model, we call it's actually a multimodal model. So what that means is that there are different types of data that was combined together. So the first one is the traditional data that's being used in real estate. That is, the floor, etc., the size of the building, number of doors. So that is the first type of data because it's tabular data. The second one is the image data. And image data, it can be represented in many different forms. In this case, what we did was we just went directly to the image. So that's another type of model that we created. The AI, what it does is that it tries to extract information out of the image to try to estimate if a certain part of an image is high value or low value. So that can be seen at the bottom part. So for example, the red hotspots, the model learned that, okay, these areas, it helps identify that if you have areas like this, most probably the property would be higher value. So there's a lot of things that is going on when we were developing this. And it helps create a consistent approach in how to create the formula for generating the price estimation. Compared to the more traditional, so the traditional model, it's called the hedonic pricing model. It's very straightforward, and it does not take into account a lot of factors that go into computing this. So for example, another thing that we did is that in the real estate industry, there are a lot of varying prices. So there can be, let's say, a large building, but it can be lower price. And then there is a single home, it can cost already hundreds of millions. So there's a lot of variances like that we need to take into account. So those things we take into account. So we use, for example, a machine learning technique called clustering. So we group together the different houses and we compute them separately. So there's a separate model for that. Ultimately, the bottom line is that we create a consistent way to come up with the estimation of the price that will take into account a lot of factors, the factors of the location, the factors of the different pricing or premiumness of the property, as well as the traditional data that is always used. And that gives you a scalability. So when I say scalability, if you want to build something for the Philippines, you can do it, yes. But you can take this method and probably apply it into another country, taking into account that we will need to have separate sources of data. For example, India, we will need data from India real estate prices and then satellites. I hope that answers the question.
Good. I'm buying a house. Call me tomorrow. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Mike. So just a question for you is, where are you in terms of your research? Have you started it already?
Okay.
Where are you right now?
Okay, so right now we've already developed one for Metro Manila. So that's a city in the Philippines. We're trying to test it out first in small pockets within the country because the problem is that one place can be too urbanized compared to another. So we want to test how different are the results. And then we're also in talks with different experts in the real estate industry, as well as I mentioned already, we're being sponsored in terms of the research by a conglomerate.
Great. I want to also suggest one source for you, Google AI.
Yes.
They have done phenomenal work, huh?
Yes.
I'm part of one of the work there.
Especially since you use Google Maps for the data.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation from Urban Lens AI. And the next presentation will come from the A team, who will present about real-time insights from space to save lives on Earth. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello. Turns out it takes 5 days to detect a bushfire using satellite imagery. Surely we can do better, because in 5 days, it will grow exponentially. People will probably already have to be evacuated by that time. In fact, if we change 2 things about how things currently work, specifically how we process the image and how do we talk to our satellites, we can bring this down to minutes. And reaction time is paramount. It means it will have enough time for emergency services to go out there and start evacuating people before fire reaches them. And just today, we have seen so many examples of extracting insights from satellite sensing data, applying them here on Earth. Just imagine what sort of benefit we will get if these insights will be real time instead of days away. This is how the system will work. Essentially, the customers, government services, businesses can go into the system, select a region of interest, and pick which events they're interested in, insights. They don't want to pay for gigabytes. They want to pay for insights that they can act upon. Could be natural disasters, mining stockpiles, water management, city traffic, some kind of emissions, you name it. They subscribe to it, and we take care of tasking in real time the right satellite constellation, getting this data, and notifying them about these events in real time so they can act upon them. Farmers can protect their crop yields from unexpected events quicker, feeding more people. We can save people's lives from disasters. We can build real-time digital twins of our cities. We can act quickly upon methane leaks from the pipelines, hopefully working better with climate change. We can monitor the fishing and the fish itself. For example, in Australia, we would like to know where the sharks are so we can get the people out of the water in time. And this platform will create great foundation for new businesses, new business models to flourish. And transparency of the system will encourage people to work together. Neighboring countries can tackle challenges together using the system. How do we get there? So we need to combine uninterrupted communication for satellites with onboard processing and package it in a way that it's very easy to integrate for satellite operators and customers. So this year we have tested our onboard processing edge computer that's 5 times more efficient than GPU-based solutions because it uses the same technology that's in our brains. And the way and how we solve the communication problem today to talk to satellites, they have only a very short window during which we can talk to a satellite when it passes the ground station. It means that outside of this window, we cannot talk to a satellite. So we cannot task it, we cannot extract any data. We have developed technology that allows us to talk to a satellite anytime and any place in orbit and exchange data, get insights, task it in real time. And we have tested as part of our beacon. This is a satellite failure recovery device, but it is using this communication. We tested it in February in space. And the good news, we don't need another constellation to do that. It already works. So to summarize a few key points that I'm happy to unpack more during the Q&A. For the customers, we give them opportunity to act quickly on the events that they currently do not have visibility at all. For the satellite operators, we offer increased revenue stream per satellite because the data now becomes much more valuable because it's recent. It's happening right now. In terms of revenue model, we will charge our customers per events subscription, and we'll share that revenue back to satellite operators. The technology for this is already available and tested in space, and we're open to partnering with other satellite component manufacturers if they want to join that platform as well. Our early adopters will be currently existing customers of the beacon. Most of them are satellite operators who do Earth observation. This will create some ripple effects in underlying downstream businesses. Our current focus is on integration with satellite operators. And I'm here today to seek advice from esteemed S-Booster experts and mentors and help us to refine our business model and build more partnerships so that we can build a better future for humanity together. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Now it's time for the questions from the judges.
Thanks for your presentation. Can you tell me a little bit more about who your customers are?
Yes, so our customers are mostly government agencies who are interested in real-time insights. So it could be local government who is looking after the area to detect bushfires, floods, natural disaster response. Businesses, for example, in logistics, who need to know, maybe they want to collect business intelligence about particular stockpiles in around the world. Mining companies who want to monitor stockpiles in other mines. And we probably see some time down the line, maybe some customers from defense as well, but that's going to take a lot of time.
Thanks. Any tractions with those customers?
Yeah, so we are currently talking to a few departments in Australia and Japan about potential collaboration there. We did initial customer research, and 8 out of 10 customers that we asked definitely would pay more for insights that are timely. So they really value that the insights are coming on time so they can actually act upon it.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Looks like you've got attraction. And have you so far, from a customer point of view, have uncovered any events using your services where they had benefited in this early alarm detection?
Well, yes, indeed. At least just to confirm, actually the combination of the two has not been in space yet. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
They individually have been in space. This is individually products that we are making money with, but the combination of them plus the system, this is what we're trying to do, essentially. But we have identified a few areas in terms of on farming, for example, detecting different water supply issues, for example, upstream, to predict what sort of irrigation situation will be like a couple of days from now, sometimes a couple of hours from now, flash flooding, things like that. So it's mostly due to disaster management and the businesses that depend on remote areas and monitoring remote areas. Like pipelines, for example, detecting methane leaks to make sure they are rectified quickly and so they're not fined as much by the government. So these kind of areas we identified.
I see. Right. And what is the kind of charge that the customer needs to pay for your services? You mentioned that there is a software as a service. Huh?
Yeah.
So do you charge them on the utility basis or you charge them on the monthly subscription basis on a contract?
Yeah, so we plan to charge them for the events, for the subscription of the events, so the active subscriptions, not for how many events we generate, but for how many active subscriptions they have, which obviously exponentially more profitable and also makes a bit more sense because we have to task satellites. We have to still ask satellites to run the machine learning models on their satellites to detect these things. Yeah, and then we also see a potential revenue stream in actually selling the devices that will enable that to satellite operators. That's what we're currently doing. That's our current business, selling hardware to satellite operators. And we believe that, yeah, products derived from the products we already have, we can still sell them as a hardware revenue stream as well. But we think that SaaS model is much more scalable than hardware sales because the number of customers is, again, exponentially larger.
Of course. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for your presentation. 2 quick quick questions. One is around research collaborations that you're involved in currently. And then the second thing is you held up the two devices and you said they've both been up in space, but they haven't been up together. So maybe could you elaborate a little bit for us on each one and how they've been utilized in space to date, and then when you're hoping to send them up together? Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. First question about research collaboration. We have done some collaboration in Australia with University of New South Wales, University of South Australia as well, on partially on the technology that allows us now to communicate to satellites anytime. That is a core enabler of this whole platform. We also have some partnerships in Japan. We recently partnered with Sompo Japan and Sompo Risk Management, who work with satellite operators, mostly Earth observation constellation, who would like to help us to get more traction in Japan as well. Yeah. And the second question about why did we send these devices separately, not at the same time? Because we developed them over the years separately, and the nature of space is such that you have to book your flights significantly in advance. So first we built this one, and then we put it on a satellite, but that satellite had to wait for about a year before it actually got launched. And in the meantime, so that we don't just sitting idle, we make this device, of course, based on a lot of customer research. And that has been, that went up with mission with DLR just in February. And that's why they're separate.
But yeah,
we have two separate customers. And to your question of when do we plan to see them all at the same time? Yeah. Well, what we're trying to do currently, we have customers who already bought the beacon, which means, and they're also Earth observation companies, constellations with 50 satellites or so. So that means for them, all they need to do to add to this is to add edge computer. And they don't even have to buy our edge computer. There are other edge computers capable of machine learning models, or machine learning inferencing in space. So we're trying to convince them to go on this path. Now, if we're successful, then hopefully in 18 months, we'll see them both in orbit.
Right, so you've already had 50 units put up in space.
That's a satellite constellation that we're talking to. That's not how many sales we've made, just to clarify that, but that's the potential.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation from the A team. Thank you. And now we arrive the final team. Thank you so much for waiting in the morning. And I would like to invite the 9 team to present about uAlpha, their business idea. You have the floor.
So I would like to start with a question. Which essential item would you pack for your space exploration? Hi, I'm Nisha Raskili Udongwit from uAlpha team with the concept of micro solution for further destination under Sandman Development Company. So we'll explore this together. So our vision statement is pioneering microalgae innovation for a healthier planet. As traditional agriculture use extensive land, water, and resource consumption, contribute to deforestation and greenhouse gas emission. So we believe that microalgae can create a more sustainable future. With the concept of 50-50, 50 times carbon dioxide absorption comparing to terrestrial plants, and 50% of protein per dry weight. So for our core technology, we select the local strain that require low maintenance and minimum resources, also with its ability of absorption carbon dioxide, and by using the food waste from household to be the cultivative medium, it's definitely reducing the carbon footprint. And also after harvesting, we can use the water for recycle and the solid waste for the fertilizers for other plants. This is the process of using food waste from households to be the cultivative medium. This is in the process of the patent registration. So the strain that we select called chlorella, which is known as the superfood, which the high concentration of protein, vitamins, and minerals. You may heard about spirulina before, but actually chlorella has higher concentration of vitamins and minerals. So it's good for individual, athletes, elderly, astronaut, and everyone. Also on the right-hand side, this is a comparison of the concentration of vitamins and mineral between chlorella and other food in the market. And also, chlorella had itself growth factor that support with the tissue recovery, so it's very good for athletes and astronauts. Protein source effect comparison. We compare between the traditional protein source, insect-based protein source, bean nuts-based protein source, and microalgae-based protein source. So throughout the research, we found out that microalgae-based protein source provide the least greenhouse gas emission, and also it has the low allergy rating, which is even lower than 0.2%, and also it's vegan, so definitely it's suitable for everyone. With its efficiency, this is our ripple effects. Our cultivation process make microalgae can absorb 0.065 ton of carbon dioxide per liter per year, which is up to 50 times higher than the terrestrial plant. And also it provides nearly zero waste due to the water can be recycled and the solid waste can be used as the biofertilizers. And also the microalgae can be used to develop as the livestock supplements to reduce the methane gas in cows. And also the microalgae itself can use as a waste and water treatment. So it's not only benefit the earth but beyond. So to answer the question in the beginning, I would like to propose microalgae as an essential item for the space exploration because it can be used as a space food due to high protein, vitamin and minerals, and also it consumes minimal resources. Even the urine-based water from astronauts can be used as the cultivative medium. And also it can use to produce the biofuel, which is useful in creating the alternative energy sources on the other planets. And also for the waste management, space habitat, and planetary terraforming. So let's talk about the cost benefit. So the logistic cost from Earth to space, this one is according to the report. It costs $2,300 per kilo, and the meal cost per astronaut per day is $2,000 to $3,000 per day, depending on the sources. Even Elon Musk found this very expensive. So he announced once that he would like to reduce the $2,300 per kilo into $100 per kilo. So while we're waiting for his solution, I would like to propose our solution with microalgae. So for 5 astronauts, we can use 150 liters of cultivation space in the spacecraft to create approximately 450 grams per day weight per 2 weeks, which only one payment of $25,000. So do you think this worth? Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. And let's open the floor for the questions.
Thank you for your presentation. I've got a very basic question. Have you tasted it yourself?
Yes, actually, I have done like homemade bread with it and pasta with it because there is another stage that I talk about food as well, and they would like to see it, so I have to make them.
Tasty?
Yeah.
You should have let us try today. You get full marks.
I'm not sure whether I'm gonna pass the security about this or not because it's in the embassy, so I don't want to risk myself with that.
I think this is a very interesting project of yours because we are all looking at sustainability, and I think of extracting algae to produce food.
Yes.
I think it will be a good, it's a very sustainable way, right? And congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for your presentation. I'm sure you're aware of it, but in Japan, there is a company called uAlpha, which is a listed company focused on microalgae food product, and they make about $500 million annually just for microalgae skincare and the food product. And I just want to understand a little bit more about how your approach could be different from theirs.
Mostly the microalgae, they will use the chemical fertilizers because it's easier, and also the efficiency of it can be controlled. As I said in the beginning that it's up to 50% protein per dry weight. The reason that I said up to is because that I use the food waste from household that I cannot control the waste that come in order to be treated and put it into the cultivation medium. But normally people will claim it to 60% of the protein because mostly they use the chemical fertilizers so that they can give the stable efficiency of the microalgae.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that presentation. Spirulina, have you heard about? It's been around for a very long time.
But ours is better. As I mentioned, chlorella has higher concentration of vitamin and minerals, and also there is the salt from the agriculture in the United States that mentioned that too.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and probably extending on from that is, could you explain a little bit about your patent registration process and what's part of that application?
Sure. So at the moment we are in the application because we were so lucky that we got the support from the National Innovation Agency to get the funds in order to make the prototype at the Lagurana District Office, which is where our company at, to show the prototype of that in order to make the photos and order the food waste treat in order to make all the research and the numbers in order to propose to them. And another thing that we are working on is that we have the collaboration with the Department of Livestock Development in order to make the supplements for livestock, because in Thailand, in order to reduce the methane emission in cows, they make the hole and put the fire in, which is very dangerous to them. So we are working with them as a collaboration in order to use the microalgae to be the supplements for them in order to reduce methane without hurting them.
And do you have a timeline of your?
For the patent registration, I have talked to our advisors when we met in different places. They told me that it might take a year in order to complete the whole process of the patent registration in Thailand.
You mentioned for a photo destination.
Yeah.
Biofuel.
Yes.
Do you really think that you're gonna make it on space for biofuel?
Actually, I would like to focus with the food, with the space food, but biofuel, I believe that microalgae has been known for 15 years already, and mostly they're doing with the biofuel because it's worth with the money. So I think that for the further destination, biofuel is also another choice of using the microalgae in space to support with the astronaut or people for the space exploration.
Yeah, since we still have 2 more minutes for you, I would ask one more question. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Are you a researcher, or you started your company?
Yes.
What is your endeavor?
So actually, I started a company. I have an experience over 5 years doing the sustainable development, like solar panels, energy storage, and also the water management. And so but mostly with the service business, and it's quite disrupted. So I would like to have something that it's my own product. So me and my teams have been figuring out what's in the trend, or it might be in the future, because we still have a lot of time in our life. So we would like to do something that's more sustainable. So we come out with the carbon credit project. But in Thailand, we still haven't had that policy yet until 10 to 15 years or something. So we would like to start something that make the base for the carbon credit. So we did some research, and then we found out that microalgae it have in Thailand, but not really popular. So we would like to raise this up.
So for this microalgae technology, your co-founders got the technology?
We did all the research ourselves, but that's why we have to do the patent for the food waste, because none in Thailand is doing by the food waste. Yes, we will be the first one.
Okay, so you came up with the technology and made it by yourself.
It's a confidential. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
And now we already complete all the pitchings from our presenters. So we heard truly impressive pitches today, and our judges have a tough decision ahead of them. And now is the time for all the judges to discuss and evaluate the presentation score. So we will have like a short break. But because our judges will occupy the room next to this room, which only one way that we can access the restroom. So we all will have 10 minutes to use the restroom. And after that, the door will be closed. And but you all can stay in this room and enjoy our coffee break that we provided there. And we will come back again for the 40 minutes from now. Okay, we will still have 10 minutes for using the restroom, and we will come back again at 4 p.m. in this room. Thank you.
Following the launch of the first quasi-zenith satellite in 2010, an additional 3 satellites were launched in 2017. The Quasi-Zenith Satellite System, or QZSS, provides highly precise and stable services in the Asia-Oceania regions while maintaining compatibility with GPS. The system has started to provide services with a 4-satellite constellation from fiscal 2018. Enabled by the reception of signals from satellites such as GPS satellites, navigation systems in cars and smartphones have become essential to our lives. Named after its H-shaped orbit that passes directly above Japan, the Quasi-Zenith Satellite, or QZS, provides highly precise and stable positioning services that cannot be obtained merely by GPS. As the QZS located near the zenith is visible from positions where signals from GPS satellites are unstable, continuous positioning will become possible. By utilizing one-of-a-kind augmentation signals from the QZSS, high-precision sub-meter level and centimeter level positioning will also become a reality. During times of disaster, the QZSS sends evacuation information and enables the communication of information on evacuees through the satellites. The QZSS, which will drastically change the landscape of positioning services, is expected to be utilized in various fields. As the QZS flies almost straight above us, people in mountainous regions or urban areas will be able to receive stable positioning information not accessible with GPS alone. Position information from the QZSS will help ensure the safety and security of children and the elderly. Where is your child playing? Where is your child walking after cram school? If an elderly person has lost his way, his family can instantly locate him with the stable position information provided by QZSS located straight above us and go to his assistance. Road pricing is a system that automatically charges vehicles using toll roads as seen in Singapore. The QZSS will enable accurate positioning of vehicles even in urban areas with a lot of high-rise buildings, thus enabling the proper charging of tolls. The movement and position of sports players who wear QZSS terminals can be precisely monitored even in a poor GPS signal environment, such as in urban areas or within a stadium. Such application has already been instrumental in strategy analysis and effective physical training. Unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, are being utilized more than ever in various fields, such as logistics and land surveying. Using highly precise position information realizes more accurate and safe logistics services, as well as more efficient land surveying. The QZSS enables centimeter-level high-precision positioning that cannot be achieved with GPS alone. In driver assistance and automatic driving, it is vital to monitor the current position of the vehicle accurately and continuously. The signals from the QZSS are less likely to be interrupted even in urban canyons, making it possible to determine vehicle position accurately to the lane level. The QZSS enables driver assistance such as traffic lane guidance tailored to your destination, as well as safe automatic driving in combination with onboard sensors. In the field of agriculture, utilization of the QZSS's high precision positioning information will improve the sophistication of IT agriculture. The QZSS's centimeter-level positioning information will make it possible to operate agricultural machinery automatically or in formation. This will enable efficient agriculture managed by a small number of people to cope with a decreasing farming population due to aging. In the field of construction, the utilization of ICT, along with the precision position information from the QZSS, will informatize processes such as surveying, design, implementation, and inspection, thereby enhancing work efficiency. In snow removal operation, by combining the position information from the QZSS and high-precision map information, the positions of snow removers and distance from the guardrails are determined with accuracy even if the road is covered by snow or the visibility is poor due to snowstorms, thus improving operation efficiency and safety. In addition to positioning services, the QZSS provides disaster and crisis-related information. People can promptly receive information about disasters and other crises, such as earthquakes, tsunamis, and terrorism incidents via the QZSS. During times of disaster, where traffic and communication networks are cut off, communication of information regarding evacuees, such as evacuation sites, will be possible via the QZSS. Its ability to reduce the number of people lacking crucial information during disasters and to maintain the safety and security of our lives has led some to refer to the QZSS as life-saving satellites. Other applications of QZSS in diverse fields are expected. Tourists may make use of position information on smartphones to get access to tourist information based on their current position. New ways to enjoy the system are being developed, such as augmented reality that displays various content on your smartphone just by holding it up to a portal to access site-specific tourist information. The Quasi-Zenith Satellite System, QZSS, will continue to help realize a safe and secure society with enhanced convenience by providing stable and precision positioning information anytime, anywhere. Following the launch of the first Quasi-Zenith satellite in 2010, an additional 3 satellites were launched in 2017. The Quasi-Zenith Satellite System, or QZSS, provides highly precise and stable services in the Asia-Oceania regions while maintaining compatibility with GPS. The system has started to provide services with a 4-satellite constellation from fiscal 2018. Enabled by the reception of signals from satellites such as GPS satellites, navigation systems in cars and smartphones have become essential to our lives. Named after its 8-shaped orbit that passes directly above Japan, the Quasi-Zenith Satellite, or QZS, provides highly precise and stable positioning services that cannot be obtained merely by GPS. the QZS located near the zenith is visible from positions where signals from GPS satellites are unstable, continuous positioning will become possible. By utilizing one-of-a-kind augmentation signals from the QZSS, high-precision sub-meter level and centimeter level positioning will also become a reality. During times of disaster, the QZSS sends evacuation information and enables the communication of information on evacuees through the satellites. The QZSS, which will drastically change the landscape of positioning services, is expected to be utilized in various fields. As the QZS flies almost straight above us, people in mountainous regions or urban areas will be able to receive stable positioning information not accessible with GPS alone. Position information from the QZSS will help ensure the safety and security of children and the elderly. Where is your child playing? Where is your child walking after cram school? If an elderly person has lost his way, his family can instantly locate him with the stable position information provided by QZSS located straight above us and go to his assistance. Road pricing is a system that automatically charges vehicles using toll roads as seen in Singapore. The QZSS will enable accurate positioning of vehicles even in urban areas with a lot of high-rise buildings, thus enabling the proper charging of tolls. The movement and position of sports players who wear QZSS terminals can be precisely monitored even in a poor GPS signal environment, such as in urban areas or within a stadium. Such application has already been instrumental in strategy analysis and effective physical training. Unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, are being utilized more than ever in various fields, such as logistics and land surveying. Using highly precise position information realizes more accurate and safe logistics services, as well as more efficient land surveying. The QZSS enables centimeter-level high-precision positioning that cannot be achieved with GPS alone. In driver assistance and automatic driving, it is vital to monitor the current position of the vehicle accurately and continuously. The signals from the QZSS are less likely to be interrupted even in urban canyons, making it possible to determine vehicle position accurately to the lane level. The QZSS enables driver assistance such as traffic lane guidance tailored to your destination, as well as safe automatic driving in combination with onboard sensors. In the field of agriculture, utilization of the QZSS's high-precision positioning information will improve the sophistication of IT agriculture. The QZSS's centimeter-level positioning information will make it possible to operate agricultural machinery automatically or in formation. This will enable efficient agriculture managed by a small number of people to cope with a decreasing farming population due to aging. In the field of construction, the utilization of ICT, along with the precision position information from the QZSS, will informatize processes such as surveying, design, implementation, and inspection, thereby enhancing work efficiency. the snow removal operation by combining the position information from the QZSS and high-precision map information. The positions of snow removers and distance from the guardrails are determined with accuracy even if the road is covered by snow or the visibility is poor due to snowstorms, thus improving operation efficiency and safety. In addition to positioning services, the QZSS provides disaster and crisis-related information. People can promptly receive information about disasters and other crises, such as earthquakes, tsunamis, and terrorism incidents via the QZSS. During times of disaster, where traffic and communication networks are cut off, communication of information regarding evacuees, such as evacuation sites, will be possible via the QZSS. Its ability to reduce the number of people lacking crucial information during disasters and to maintain the safety and security of our lives has led some to refer to the QZSS as life-saving satellites. Other applications of QZSS in diverse fields are expected. Tourists may make use of position information on smartphones to get access to tourist information based on their current position. New ways to enjoy the system are being developed, such as augmented reality that displays various content on your smartphone just by holding it up to a portal to access site-specific tourist information. The Quasi-Zenith Satellite System, QZSS, will continue to help realize a safe and secure society with enhanced convenience by providing stable and precision positioning information anytime, anywhere. Following the launch of the first Quasi-Zenith satellite in 2010, an additional 3 satellites were launched in 2017. The Quasi-Zenith Satellite System, or QZSS, provides highly precise and stable services in the Asia-Oceania regions while maintaining compatibility with GPS. The system has started to provide services with a 4-satellite constellation from fiscal 2018. Enabled by the reception of signals from satellites such as GPS satellites, navigation systems in cars and smartphones have become essential to our lives. Named after its 8-shaped orbit that passes directly above Japan, the Quasi-Zenith satellite, or QZS, provides highly precise and stable positioning services that cannot be obtained merely by GPS. The QZS located near the zenith is visible from positions where signals from GPS satellites are unstable, continuous positioning will become possible. By utilizing one-of-a-kind augmentation signals from the QZSS, high-precision sub-meter level and centimeter level positioning will also become a reality. During times of disaster, the QZSS sends evacuation information and enables the communication of information on evacuees through the satellites. The QZSS, which will drastically change the landscape of positioning services, is expected to be utilized in various fields. As the QZS flies almost straight above us, People in mountainous regions or urban areas will be able to receive stable positioning information not accessible with GPS alone. Position information from the QZSS will help ensure the safety and security of children and the elderly. Where is your child playing? Where is your child walking after cram school? If an elderly person has lost his way, his family can instantly locate him with the stable position information provided by QZSS located straight above us and go to his assistance. Road